Yo.
Wanna make that paper, wanna make that now. This is the affiliate marketing show. Wanna make that paper, wanna make that now.
What's up, everybody? This is Josh coming to you with another episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest affiliate marketing news, tips, and trends. I'm Josh from OfferVault.com, the industry's #1 aggregator of all things affiliate marketing. If you need help with affiliate marketing, make sure you check out OfferVault.com. We also have, as usual, the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, as well as one of my longtime friends in the industry, Max Bergeron from Crack Revenue. What's up, Max? How are we doing?
Hey guys, very pleased to be here on the podcast.
I hit that Bergeron pretty hard, didn't I?
Oh yeah, it was
You
on point.
have to make it like Bergeron and really emphasize. If you're going French, you got to go for it.
So, I forgot to mention in my intro, we talked about it. You are the VP of Affiliates and Advertisers at Crack Revenue, which is a Canadian affiliate marketing platform that focuses on the adult and dating verticals. What part of Canada are you talking to us from today? Just curious.
We're from Quebec City, so close to Montreal for people who don't really know about Canada. So from what you can hear in my accent, we're from the French part of Canada, which is totally East Coast. So a couple hours from New York, actually, if you want to situate where we are.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm actually going to throw a curveball in our agenda here, but it's nothing you can't manage, so don't freak out on me. But I'm curious. I know you've been with Crack for quite a while. I think the first time I met you was back in like 2016 or 17 in Thailand on the rooftop of the hotel, having some adult beverages. I was like, this guy seems cool. We should be friends. So I know you've been there for a while. I'm curious, how long have you been working in the affiliate space, the adult space, as well as with Crack? And then I'm also curious about your journey from like what your role was when you started and how you got up to be the VP of affiliates and advertisers in the marketing space. So kind of walk me through what that journey was like for you.
Yeah. So you're totally correct. The first time we met was in Thailand. So it's a pretty good start, actually. Very good souvenirs from that moment also. So yeah, I've been with Crack since 2015. So just a year before we actually met. It's been my only experience inside affiliate marketing. So I wasn't aware of the affiliate marketing industry before Crack Revenue. I used to work for Apple, actually. So I used to be, I was working retail, but I was most into the technical aspect. I did some, back then they were also offering one-on-one training for their customers. So I was one of the teachers on the floor. So basically coaching customers on how to use their devices, how to use their softwares and stuff like that.
Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that or not so much? I'm just curious.
I used to enjoy it back then because the product were not so easy to get and to understand. I mean, they were not product for everybody back then, which has changed over time, meaning that customers are also different today. We used to work a lot with professionals, so professional photographers, professional musicians that were there to record some stuff on their Macs. So yeah, it was fun for the time that I was there. And yeah, so before that, I used to study graphic design, actually, which is totally not related to Apple and totally not related to what I'm doing today. I just went freestyle from graphic design to Apple. Obviously, always knew someone who was there and was like, "Hey Max, you should come and work for with us. The company's cool." and that's what got me into Crack Revenue. I used to be
So
friend. Yep.
I was just gonna say, what was your position when you first got there?
I was affiliate manager.
So
Yep.
then, was it just the amount of time and experience that kind of got you up to VP of affiliates and advertisers, or did you say, "Hey, I'm trying to do more, a lot more"?
How has your career evolved? So like, what was the step from affiliate manager? Like, where did you go? What is your like movement in the company been like?
So I did 1 year as an affiliate manager, and I got promoted to team lead after a year. I did 2 years being the team leader, and I got promoted to director. And after that, I did so 5 years as the director of Crack Revenue, and I became VP a little bit more than over a year now.
And was
So
that
just
something you asked for, or were they like, "You're killing it. We want you to be the VP and manage this for us"?
well, I hope it's a great mix of of both, not just me asking all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think I've been at the right place at the right time. I showed my skills. I just worked hard. Also got great mentors, I think, along the way. So people that are really encouraging you to do better, that are giving you good visibility, good tips and tricks on, how to get better and better every day. So yeah, I'm pretty happy where I am now.
So let's pretend I'm a new affiliate. I'm trying to get involved in the adult vertical, and I don't really know anything about it. And I say, "Hey, Max, you're my boy. You can teach me everything you know. Where do I start if I'm trying to get involved in adult?"
Yeah. Well, I think that today, what I want people to discover, I hope, is that the adult industry is not really far from the mainstream industries. So first tip on how to start, obviously, just make sure you have a plan. Just make sure you know where you where you're going, or at least that you have an idea of what you want to do. Get familiar with the adult affiliate marketing industry itself. Get familiar, read about compliance, legal considerations. There are a bunch of different laws depending on the countries that you're going to work with. There's age verification if you're working within the US. So just do some research before you jump ahead. Make sure you do some research on the type of products or services you're planning on promoting. So either it's going to be adult cam, adult dating, adult gaming, adult VOD. So make sure you have an idea of what you want to start with.
So I want to jump in real quick. I know like finding a network is probably like one of the first steps. So I'm curious, in your opinion, like there's so many networks in this industry as well as in the adult space. So what would be your tip to a new affiliate in terms of finding a network? What should they be looking for? How do they know if it's a network that they're going to vibe with? Is there any advice you could provide to them on that front?
First, don't trust all the reviews. We all know what the reviews what the reviews are, or most of them. I'd say for me, join an affiliate marketing community. So you're going to have a lot of information about the networks are there based on real affiliates experience. And honestly, affiliates that have bad experiences with networks, it's easy to spot it. So if you want to make sure you choose the right one, affiliate marketing communities, forums are a good place to start.
Are there any specific ones that you might want to shout out? I mean, if you don't know on the top of your head, that's cool too. But I'm just curious if like any come to mind that some people might be able to go check out as they're listening to this episode.
Well, pretty much the same forums as for the mainstream affiliate marketing. They all have this adult section, which is full of information. So STM, Affiliate, Beer Money Forum, they all have an adult section. So
Yeah, we had Luke on recently from Afflift. He's a friend of the pod.
Right.
Afflift is, I would agree, is a great resource. OfferVault, great resource. Although we don't really have reviews and stuff. It's more just an ocean of
It allows you to
affiliate
see what's
stuff.
out there though, and see kind of who has what, or what. The
And you know who
offers are.
also is on OfferVault? Crack Revenue. That's right. If you want to check out Crack Revenue's products and offerings, check out their profile on OfferVault.com. So get involved in the communities and stuff. Any tips on like how someone can build up their traffic source, or again,
Real quick, Josh, that was a product plug that not even ChatGPT could do. So great work. I just had to come.
Yeah, I'm trying to earn my my place back. Max, I'm constantly being threatened to be replaced by ChatGPT. That's an ongoing.
But that was
thing
like
here.
that was big. That was growth from me. I thought, I gave you the opposite of that. So
I appreciate it. Thank you. No, it's cool. It goes a long way getting that feedback. Thank you, Harrison. Max, as a VP of affiliates and advertisers, I'm curious, what's your approach when it comes to working with these affiliates at Crack, and how do you kind of go about making sure that they find success as an affiliate themselves? What are some tips and advice from your experience on what they should really be focusing on, especially in the adult vertical? Like Crack Revenue, sorry.
Well, we've always been a network very open to working with beginners affiliates. It's been our philosophy for over 10 years. So obviously everything related to communication is very, very important. And that's pretty much the key of our success and the key of the success of our partnerships with affiliates. So if you're an affiliate and you want to start within the adult affiliate marketing sphere, make sure you talk to someone. So don't be too, secretive about what you want to do and everything. Speak to someone, ask to talk to an account manager, go on the live chat, talk to someone, tell them what you want to do. This is pretty much the number one tip I would give to any new affiliate. And yeah, just make sure you create some kind of relationship with your affiliate manager. That's the number one tip. Ask them for their knowledge, ask them for tips and tricks. They're basically there to help you out,
Yeah, I know you were an app manager when you got started, like you told us before. Speaking of the tips and tricks, and I know it's been a while, so if nothing comes to mind, totally understand. But when you were doing the AM stuff with Crack, do you remember any of the tips and tricks you were giving to the affiliates that you were managing in terms of the verticals like cams and dating and VOD and all that stuff?
Well, there's not really like one precise tip. Again, my tip would be make sure your affiliate manager is aware of what your plan is. Meaning, if you started building a website, if they are aware of what you're building, well, there's a good chance they will. They will give you something custom craft for your brand. They can give you promotion tools that are not even on the platform. They can go out and seek a new offer payout based on what your new audience is. If they're not aware of what you're doing, well, there is a chance they will not be able to help you out as much as they could. So again, it goes back to communication and be open to collaborate. But I really think this is the number one tip.
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, I know there's a lot of affiliate networks that focus on the adult vertical like Crack Revenue, but I'm curious, in your opinion, like what are some of the features or characteristics of Crack Revenue that kind of set it apart from the other adult networks in this space? Is there any like differentiating factors? Is it the people, the passion? In your opinion, like why do you think Crack is better than the rest? As well as what are you guys actually doing that's different, if anything?
Well, to begin, I mean, there's a bunch of really great adult affiliate networks out there. There's a bunch of really great direct advertisers that are also like providing their affiliate program. So in no way I want to I want to
throw shade.
Blame on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think you'll find our level of expertise in the adult industry anywhere else. I mean, we've been there for 20 years doing adult marketing stuff. We've been media buyers for 25 plus years. We basically like saw it all. And we're pretty strict also on compliance, on regulations. We make sure we're updated with everything that's going on inside the industry. So we're very well connected with what's happening. We're also brand and websites creators. So we're not just an affiliate network. So we're building our own stuff. We have a site that's called jerkmate.com, which is a campsite that we built from scratch. So we're more than a network. We're an SEO agency. We're a design agency. We can help you with your creatives, with your development needs, with your SEO strategy. So I don't think there are many other companies that can offer affiliates as much as we can in a 360 way. So I think that's very different from what you're gonna get in other places, obviously.
Yeah, and you mentioned compliance. I just had a question pop into my head. How do you guys like stay on top of that if you know how? And like what are some things that go on in the adult space like that change where you have to like change your compliance? Like is there a real world example, maybe somewhat recently, of something that changed in the space and it caused you guys to have to change your compliance and your terms and your conditions and all that kind of stuff? Or is it generally like big picture typically kind of stay the same for the most part?
Well, a lot of things have been changing for the past, I'd say, maybe 5 years, or probably at a different pace than before. Obviously, some of these changes, they take time. They take a lot of time. So for a certain period, I mean, new regulations and new compliance laws and everything, you just have to be aware that there's something going on and make sure you prepare in case there's a change. I mean, everything related to Pornhub was in the media. I mean, everybody saw it. Everybody knows about it. We just want to make sure that we're out there, that we're aware of any new updates. So right now,
can you remind our users what happened with Pornhub, just for anyone who's not familiar with that?
Yeah, I'd rather not go into
okay.
if you're okay with that. I'm not sure if you sorry.
No, don't worry. It's all good, man. Yeah, it's all good. So I'm curious in terms of some of the biggest challenges you encounter when it comes to running an adult focused network. You know, a lot of times we have people that talk about the affiliate side of things, and I'm curious, you know, to get your take on it as the kind of the bigger picture, the network itself. So specifically related to the adult space, what are some of the biggest challenges you encounter when running a network in that vertical?
I'd say advertiser and affiliate credibility is one of them. So maintaining a reputation for credibility and reliability can be difficult in the adult industry, which has historically been associated with scams and, you know, low quality products. So building trust among both advertisers and affiliates is definitely an ongoing challenge. Branding and marketing challenges are also can also be very difficult. So marketing adult content can also be challenging due to restrictions on advertising platforms. social media. So we all know, I mean, there are some social media that are adult friendly, like Twitter.
Yeah,
There
but
are
I'm assuming like Meta is probably not, right?
Meta is definitely not.
Yeah. So how do you guys do you do anything with them? I mean, I'm assuming you have a profile, but you probably keep it pretty mainstream on there, yeah?
We're not doing anything on Meta related to adult offers. I know affiliates that are doing some. I mean, you have to get very creative with your strategies, obviously. But I mean, it's doable, definitely.
Now, let's talk about management a little bit. This is kind of a common theme on our show because I think a lot of people who are managers can benefit from it. I think people who are being managed can benefit from it that are trying to get to that management level. So, what's Max's approach to management, and how do you kind of define your style in terms of when you have people working with you, working below you, trying to, help motivate them to be better? What's your kind of take on all that?
That's a good question. Well, I said it earlier at the beginning of the podcast. I mean, I'm not coming from a manager background, so I totally learned from the people I've been managed by. I'm only 37, so in my personal career, I think I'm kind of a young manager. Um, yeah, I'm very human. I think I'm a good listener. So my team would probably say that I talk too much, but I think I'm a good listener. So, I, I mean, I encourage autonomy and decision making. Um, I want people to succeed, and I want them to become better and better. And I don't think you can achieve that by giving people all the answers all the time. So yeah, I'm really into like continuous coaching. And that's funny because coming from my background at Apple, I used to teach people, how to use iPhotos, how to use iTunes back then. And one of the things they were telling us to do back then, and it was like a golden rule: you couldn't point anything on the screen. So you could never give answers to the people who wanted to learn something. So you always had to make people reflect on what they wanted to do so they could find the answers themselves. So I'm kind of like applying like similar rules to how I'm coaching my team today as a manager. I mean, if you're coming to me with a problem that you have, we'll probably discuss about it for 30 minutes just to make sure you do the path in your head, instead of me giving you the right answer or the wrong answer. So yeah, I think I'm very human. That being said, knowing the level of energy I'm giving people every day, I also ask for the same level of energy in return. So obviously I'm into results. Otherwise I wouldn't have this job today probably. But I'm also very much into efforts. I mean, I require my team to be very open in sharing what they're trying to accomplish and how they're doing it, and not just the final results. So I think this is what I hope this is what my team is living every day. So we're just one big team helping each other out and making sure we succeed.
How many people are you actually how many people are on your team right now? I'm just curious.
So right now would be around 25.
Wow. That seems like overwhelming. But
Yeah,
I'm sure for someone managing like 5,000, they're probably like, what?
yeah, but, I mean, I really have great people on my team, so
Yeah.
obviously I'm not the only one.
And what's your like management approach to failure? That's also something we discuss a lot. And then before I give you like my take, how do you kind of approach failure? Is it like a one strike policy? Is it depends on the instance? What do you think?
Well, I think first of all, I think failure is inevitable. That's for sure. My personal take on failure would be just make sure you're not failing a second time based on the exact same thing. So if you made a mistake, just make sure you don't do that same exact mistake twice. Just make sure you take action. And I mean, if there's something broken, just fix it so it doesn't happen like a second time. So this is my only golden rule about failure would be every time you make a mistake, just make sure you fix it at this exact same moment. And if you're going from one mistake to the other and that you're fixing your stuff along the way, I mean, it can only go better and better. But you're going to fail at some point. You're going to fail. That's
Unless
for sure.
unless you're Max Bergeron, because Max never fails,
Unless you're me.
right? Well, I was gonna ask, like, was there a time in your AM days or even now in your VP days, like, has there been a massive learning experience that you went through from a failure? Does anything come to mind, or is it like that's just kind of part of the role and nothing jumps out to you?
I think one of the things I really learned from was to not mix I mean not trusting to not like to not mix not trusting your people.
Not being able to delegate.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean at some point well, what I really want to say, sorry.
No need to apologize. This is a chill podcast, man. We could do whatever you want here. Go ahead though.
I mean, I've had people in my team again last week, and they were still confusing like micromanagement and not taking the time to make sure they were supporting like a specific initiative. So there's a difference between you don't want to look over the shoulder of your employees because you don't want to give them the feeling that you're micromanaging them. But if you're not doing a certain level of like monitoring, you're basically doing, in my opinion, the opposite of being a good manager. So just make sure you're not monitoring stuff only because you think it's micromanagement. So there's a fine line between those two. And if you're not doing it, well, you're probably missing on something.
So one more question related to that, and then we'll move on here. But I'm curious, this kind of just popped in my head with your answer there. How do you determine the fine line? You know, in your experience, I mean, I've had issues with micromanaging. You could also call it just control, trying to control everything going on, right? Sometimes it's very freeing to let go and just trust other people, realize some things aren't within your control. So I think it kind of relates, and I'm curious in your experience, like, how do you determine that fine line? How do you find that balance? Does it just come with trust, which comes from your team proving to you that you don't have to do it, or is it more coming from you kind of letting go and just not trying to control as much?
Well, I'm gonna give you like a real example, and it might be easier to understand that way. We're very strict on documentation, making sure our CRM is up to date all the time with what's happening with our affiliates. So either based on emails or, if I opened an affiliate account in the CRM, like I want to make sure I have all the informations that are up to date. So I want my managers to make sure the CRM is up to date, So from my point of view, micromanaging that part would be to go and ask the affiliate manager, like, hey, did you do your CRM update? Can you open it to me? Can you did you put that email you sent into this affiliate account? So for me, that would be micromanagement. I mean, talking to the affiliate manager, asking it for results. You can do the exact same thing without talking to the affiliate manager. I mean, you can make sure you have like a self-service report inside Salesforce and make sure you go see if the CRM is up to date. So in my mind, micromanagement is often related to I'm just like annoying you for updates all the time, making sure you do your job.
Yeah.
You can do the exact same thing, but just make sure you're not annoying your staff every time to ask them for updates. Because if they're doing their job, the information is already there. And if you're a good manager, you know where to look for. So
Harrison, I know you got a lot of experience with managing teams and stuff. How do you kind of balance that line of micromanagement versus no management, right? You know, I was asking, as you heard, I was asking Max, like, is it based on trust and experience, or do you have a different take on that?
Well, I love the question. I think, Adam and I take a very trusting approach in terms of how we manage and how we kind of give team members the keys, metaphorically speaking. I'll tell a story about someone years and years ago that was on our team. This is like 5 years ago or so. And we were working on a bunch of things. And this person was doing a great job, crushing it. And they came to me on Skype and they went, "Hey, Harrison, like, what's going on? You haven't like messaged me in like a week. Are you mad at me? Did I do something? Is anything wrong?" And I was like, "No, bro, you're fucking crushing it. Like, you're good. Like, I've just been working on X, Y, and Z. You're killing A, B, C, D, and E. Like, I didn't need to bother you because you're doing a great job." And he kind of went, "Oh shit, I see." Like, it was like a light bulb moment for him. And for me, it was like, "Hey, like, I appreciate the feedback. I'm going to communicate more with you. Like, I'll keep you in touch, and, I'll keep things in touch when I need to, like, let you know. But like, don't worry. I got you, bro." And it was really helpful to him just like know that. And, I think that's kind of an easy story to summarize. Like, when we have, team members that are operating at, as a well-oiled machine and they're cruising, I don't necessarily need to get in the way. At the same time, like, communication is key. I think having like weekly calls or monthly calls or updates that are shared in a group environment allow for kind of some constant communication to still be there when things need to get done or things break or whatever. There's always like some line of communication and accountability. But, I think the babysitting or hand-holding mentality can also frustrate people that want to grow and want to show you that they can freaking crush it. But they're like, why am I being babysat? Like, I'm doing a good job. So, there's obviously a happy medium, but that's just kind of what my experience has been like from like a management and leadership perspective over the years.
Yeah, I think most people. Oh, go ahead, Max.
I mean, what I was about to say is that, the pandemic and having more people working remote is definitely a bigger challenge for managers than it used to be a couple of years ago, in my opinion. I mean, here in Canada, we were not so used to working with people on remote locations. So basically, we had everybody at the office every time. So all of a sudden, everything changed from one day to another. So all the managers, basically, they had to change the whole way they were, monitoring the operation and coaching their staff. So it's definitely a big challenge, and it still is.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a shock to the system for people that aren't used to it. Sometimes people are like very much micromanaged, or maybe they're getting tons of positive feedback and that's how they know they're doing their job well, and then if they go to a new system and it's like, oh shit, I'm not hearing from my superior, he must be pissed at me or something. But I think it's actually a much more productive relationship because you're not wasting energy focusing on it. They're not wasting energy having to babysit you. So I think it's probably something that people should maybe consider switching their management approach to if they're not already doing it. Obviously, it depends on having the right people as well.
Also just sorry to jump in. People have different kind of reactions to how they're managed. So you might have an employee that really does need more hand holding or, guidance, and that's fine. But then you may have someone that wants to cruise. And so I would say not utilizing a one size fits all approach to like how you lead and interact and grow with your team is also important, because, someone might have really incredible, skills, but they just need to have you on the phone with them for, a couple hours every week or an hour a week, just to kind of to give them, to get clear their head or whatever. And then other people, like the gentleman who I just mentioned, who Josh, but I'll tell you offline, was like, yo, dog, what the fuck? Are you mad at me? And I was like, no, I fucking love you, bro. Let's ride. And so, that's kind of just everyone's different.
Yeah.
I used to think that communication is key was so generic as a quote, but honestly today I think everything is about communication. That's the number one point. If you're nailing communication, like, everything should be fine.
Max, I got one more question for you before we let you get out of here, and let's take it back to adult, right? So I'm curious, I know, as you mentioned before, like, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about adult, right? In terms of mainstream versus not, or versus adult, right? Maybe I should have said dating, but what are some of the...
interrupt. I asked the question, then I got to say something about the adult industry, because it'll really help Max on his answer, I think.
All right, cool. Before I was so rudely interrupted, what are some of the myths that you hear constantly in the adult space that you feel just aren't true? And before you answer that, let me pass it back to my co-host, Harrison.
Sorry, my ADD just couldn't hold back. I've had like 6 cold brews today. I'm legitimately shaking. I was just going to say that people definitely jump to conclusions about the adult industry, and simply put, they just have way more fun than the mainstream industry. You should go to like a Webmaster Access or one of these adult shows. Like, I've never been huge in the adult industry, but a couple years ago, I ended up at an adult conference to meet with some bank partners that I was working with a long time ago. And like, everyone is so cool, and I had so much fun with these people. There was like 26 people at this dinner. I did business with 2 of them. All 26 of those people are like still my friends. I've done like $4 in business with them, and that's like I bought them a drink. So go ahead. I just had to say that because you guys are lit.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. And that's funny because before starting this podcast, I was watching the podcast you made with Stefan, and I only could watch the 5 first minutes, and I was like, he was talking about, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I was like, that's cool. So go watch the podcast with Stefan. So yeah.
So in your opinion, what are the myths about adult from your experience with Crack, as well as an AM and a VP, just everything like that?
Well, I think a lot of people, they still think that that adult is easy money, So the perception that the adult industry guarantees easy and quick money related to affiliate marketing. So in reality, just like any other business, success in the adult industry requires, dedication, hard work, strategic approach. So obviously, while there might be potential for profitability, that's for sure. It's not a guaranteed path. Second myth, probably related to the lack of ethics. So the myth would be to assume that all adult content is inherently unethical or immoral. So again, in reality, ethical considerations are relevant in every industry, including the adult sphere. There are responsible adult content producers and marketers who prioritize consent, respect, transparency in their work. So again, one of the biggest myths from the adult affiliate marketing. There's also a myth about the limited audience related to the adult affiliate marketing industry. So assuming that the audience for adult content is limited. Obviously, this is kind of changing, mostly because stuff like OnlyFans, they really did like an amazing job of like making the adult industry more mainstream-ish. So obviously it's changing. So and probably the last one, like it's an older myth, I think, related to the the lack of professionalism about the adult industry. So assuming that professionals in the adult industry, they lack professionalism. So again, in reality, just like any other industry, just like any other network, the adult industry includes individuals who are very dedicated, very skilled, committed to maintaining like high standards. Again, there are great companies out there, great advertisers, great affiliates, great people from the community. So, yeah.
Well, Max, I just want to thank you for coming on the Affiliate Marketing Show. It's always a pleasure to have a longtime friend of mine like yourself on here to catch up and chat. For myself, Josh from OfferVault.com, as well as the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz and Maxime Bergeron, the VP of Affiliates and Advertisers at Crack Revenue. Let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We will see you next time, everybody. Take care.